Hey beauties, it's Wendy Alexis with Lash Tutorial by Wendy Alexis, and I am making my very first YouTube video to help you if you want to launch your lash brand in 2020. So I'm giving you the top 5 steps or lessons that I've learned to help me get started in business thus far, and I am giving them to you to make your journey a little bit easier. So stay tuned for the top 5 steps. So here we are. These are the top 5 steps. Once again, I wish I would have known when I started business. So hopefully this helps you if you're starting yours or if you're in business anyway. I had cricket. Whatever. Still cute. So let's begin. So number 1 is to make sure you have a business before you actually start a business, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but the thing is that you want to make sure you have products that sell to an audience, or you want to make sure you have the audience to sell to. Bottom line, like if you're coming out the blue, no one knows you, it's going to be harder to push your product. So of course you don't want to go out for instance, and buy $2,000 worth of lashes or 2,000 trays with your name and branded, and it looks beautiful, but now you have to haul ass to try and figure out like who is your audience, who you're selling to. So honestly, if you develop that profile ahead of time, as far as that ideal client, right? Or, call it by a number of names, but ultimately it's the ideal client that you really want to make sure that you service to and you're selling your products for, and this is who you're creating your products for. So when I first started Lash Tutorial, I was doing services, and I quickly learned that, okay, I love doing services because I love the clients that I actually came in contact with. Like they're really cool, and I really love them. But my thing that really got me excited and really got me going was the e-commerce side, and how I was able to sell, products on this website that I created by myself using a Shopify platform, which is a totally different video. But I was able to create this e-commerce platform to sell my products. So I was fortunate to have that, but I felt like I would have sold out of my products a lot quicker if I was able to, if I had the audience, right? If I had, not necessarily right now, I have about 1,000 plus followers, but my followers are so niche that if I put out something, I'm putting it out directly to my ideal clientele, which is probably the best kind of situation that you have. I think a lot of people get boggled down with like follower count, like, oh, she has 10,000 followers. Now, granted, she has a larger audience, but how targeted is that audience? How niche is that audience? If she's the person that sells swimsuits and then you asking her to sell your lash brand, how targeted or the return of your investment are you going to get back from somewhat of an influencer like that, or from an Instagram page like that? So if you have a small following and your following is concentrated in niche, I would definitely continue to grow it in that niche market. And like I said, that they're going to basically come to you for that product, for that service, because they know that's your specialty. And ultimately, if you're looking for influence, it pretty much goes the same way. Your ideal client who is looking for your service, for your products, is looking for that exact same profile that you are creating on your Instagram page. So it goes a long way to make sure, like I said, you are creating that audience to sell to. You don't want to have a product and then try and sell. You want to have that audience that already has your trust, that already knows you for being in that niche, and then have that product to sell them, right? So ultimately what I did was I had an LLC, I had products, but I was struggling to find that audience. So if I can do it all over again, once again, I would do it exactly like I'm telling you guys, and that would be to build that audience. My light went out. To build that audience and then sell, and that's, I feel like, is the correct order that anybody should be doing it in. Like I said, I know you're excited to get started. I know you're excited to say, oh, I have a business, I'm creating a business. Especially if you work in corporate America like me, like you're depending on pretty much growing this business to a standpoint where you can leave your 9-to-5, right? You can leave that corporate America structure and you can go into the entrepreneurship and literally work for yourself. So once again, like I said, to make sure you have that business before you get started, and all that means is make sure you have an audience to sell your product to. That's number 1. Number 2 is create a business plan. So I'm not telling you to go out there and do 15 pages worth of a business plan. I started to do that when I first got started. Everyone was like, oh, you need a business plan, you need a business plan, you need a business plan, and you do. But they never told you in what scope. Like necessarily, my first initial business plan for Lash by Wendy Alexis was a one-pager, right? It was my objectives, what I wanted to accomplish it, how I was going to accomplish it, what resources I needed to accomplish it, and what was my target audience. Once again, that is always going to be pretty much one of your most important sectors and kind of aspects of your business plan that you really need to focus on. So once again, you do not have to have a 15-page business plan. That I'm so overwhelmed when I started to do it. I was like, look, I just need something to keep me guided. I'm not asking for funding. I'm funding this myself, so I don't need to write 15 pages of a whole bunch of stuff that I really don't understand. And nor at that moment did I have the money to pay someone $300 to $500 to produce a business plan for me that I didn't need. So once again, make it efficient. I can definitely do another video on how I broke down my business plan, the most important sections to really think about and consider when, I'm sorry guys, it's not working now. You know, the most important sections to consider when you are constructing your business plan, what you really want to focus on. And I can guarantee that is not 15 pages worth of summaries and graphs and all that, because that's just not where we're at when we're very beginning. I know when I first started, I was on very limited money. I just needed a plan, I needed a motion, and I knew that it was going to get done by any means necessary. I'm that type of person to figure out that it's always more than one way to skin a cat, and I'm going to get it done by any means necessary. Of course, legal wise, just want to put that out there, but it's definitely gonna get done. So make a plan. That's the only way you're going to stay on course. My resources was pretty much Alibaba. I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources basically testing vendors, reaching out to them, kind of building relationships, kind of getting to know their processes and things that were really important to me in order to produce a product that I was able to sell to my customers who I felt, well, who are luxury customers. And therefore, I spent a lot of time on the details in order when I create a product for them. So basically, you want to find vendors, right? Whether it's through Alibaba or, you know, US-based manufacturers. Yes, there are US-based manufacturers that manufacture lashes, lash extensions, lash adhesives, and everything of that nature. So really do your research, because they're out there, guys. Like, yes, there are US vendors for lash extensions, lash adhesives, and pretty much everything else that you need is out there. It's a lot of research. You have to flip over some stones. You have to make some calls, and you just have to pull up. That's just what it is. But it's out there. So that's number 2, is basically building that relationship with your vendors, testing them out, making sure that the product is of the quality that you would like it in order to give to your customers and be able to sell for the price points that you want. That is very important. I am back with a new wig and a fresh look. Okay, so number 4 for launching your business in 30 days, of course, is creating a marketing plan. So you want to make sure as soon as you get the process and all of you know, your waiting process of getting your samples and things of that nature, you want to make sure you have a marketing plan and who you're marketing to. You want to know the age. How are you going to reach out to them? Where do they prefer shopping at? Where their habits, their hobbies, where do they shop, on mobile or more on you know, use a desktop? Like, these are important things that you have to factor into your marketing plan. So once you know your ideal customer that you're targeting and that you are creating your products for, then you decide which channels that you want to market to, right? So if you want to just market to on social media, where you're going to be running Facebook ads and Instagram ads to target your audience, that's one. Or are you going to be more of you know, door-to-door, really going to local events and things of that nature and really making a name for yourself? So it's really about marketing. Marketing is the key point to it all. When I tell you guys that, okay, yeah, everything else is important, but the most important part of any business is marketing and really getting your brand out there, your brand message, and also how good your product is, and this is important. There we go. So yeah, that is the most important part. Out of all of these steps that I've told you guys thus far, this is the most important. Really create that marketing brand for yourself and for your product, and I can guarantee you that you'll see a tremendous difference when you launch or relaunch. I know I did when I went back to the drawing board. I truly understood my customer, and I learned that honestly by patterns. I learned that by the analytics. Analytics are very important. And learning how to read your analytics so you can understand your customer journey throughout your store, or how you even inquire them, is extremely important. So I would definitely pay attention to your analytics and incorporate that into your marketing plan by knowing how to market to them. For example, for Lasheatory, I know that all of my customers mostly shop by mobile. Only a small percentage that really use desktop. So for that, when I'm creating my Facebook ads for Lasheatory, I make sure that I focus on these ads running on Instagram stories, and also any type of mobile device that can be seen, and I always make sure that my interface for my computer, for my website, for the website, is always user friendly as far as that user interface, and that's what your customer is going to see. So that's extremely important to incorporate into your marketing plan and really make that solid, as well as creating a budget for your marketing. I would say that a lot of money is spent on marketing, but that's basically just casting your net, lack of term or whatever, is to grab the fish and grab them in and come to your store and start to convert them into paying customers, and then basically allow them to get into your funnel some sort of way. So that is the fourth step, and now we are moving on to the very last, right? So step 5. We're here, right? So once you've completed step 1, which is make sure you have a business, you've already made sure that you had customers are knocking your door, they're joining your email list to basically get the newest updates. So you just have a big following, like whatever that may be. You want to make sure you have that business before you actually invest the time and the resources into creating it. Step 2, I have to look at my notes as I'm looking down. So step 2 is creating that business plan and that guideline that is going to help you throughout the process of keeping everything on course on what your dream is, what your goals are for the next few weeks, few months, and few years for your brand and for your business, right? Number 3, which is a very crucial step, and I know that during this time of COVID-19 that is extremely hard, especially if a lot of your vendors were on Alibaba and things like mine were, that were kind of a halt and had to get really creative. I also do know that there are U.S. manufacturers, but once again, this is really not the time. So you do as you please as far as that, but once again, there are U.S. vendors that produce lash extensions, lash applies, and things of that nature also. So then we are moving on to number 4, which I always want to emphasize that this is the most crucial part, and that is creating a solid marketing plan to market your product to your customer and to the market. It is extremely important. I can't stress this enough. I keep saying it. I don't know what else to do. Ding ding, like just keep saying it. It's important. It's important. You must do this. Right? So creating a solid marketing plan, really know your ideal customers, determining a budget that you're going to spend on marketing, using all of these important factors, these key factors into building your marketing plan is going to help you keep things on track once you're ready to launch. And speaking of launch, that is the 5th and final step, which is launching your product. Be loud, be curvaceous. Did I say curvaceous? Courageous, be proud about your brand and really get it out there and market it to everyone. Okay, BD, so now you have the top 5 steps to how to launch your lash brand in 60 days. Go to my YouTube channel. Make sure you download a copy of the complete guide of launching your business from beginning to end. It is a checklist that I have compiled, I have used. So this is very important to make sure you really check off these check boxes to get you started, to make sure you have everything you need.